Hello everyone, welcome back to Same Right Fashion Academy YouTube channel for another interesting tutorial here on this channel. So today's tutorial will be making this high-load gown. You are seeing right here, it's a flayed high-low gown. We are making the front and back, okay, together. So I'm going to fold my pattern paper into two, so I'll be able to get the midline, okay, for my back and my front. So my drafting here, I'm drafting front and I'm drafting back. So I'm going to make my border lines as usual, my border lines, okay. I'm going to extend that to the back line. So this is my border line. So I'm making full front and full back because it's high-low, asymmetric high load. Okay, so the both are not same. So what that means again is that I'm going to also divide my paper by 2 and get the midline of my front dress. So this is going to be the midline of my front dress now. So I'll be using dotted lines to indicate that. So we are making on a small scale as usual, okay, as I cannot do the whole scale drawing right there. So I'm using my small scale. So if you are making yours, of course, you use your actual measurement for this. So I'm imputing the neckline. What I have here is the natural neckline, which is gotten by your bust divide by 12. So whatever your bust is, divide by 12, impute the width and the depth, as you can see. So here I'll measure my shoulder. So like I said, it's small scaled, so I'm just taking it in a small scale level. So what we need here is our chest line. That is the lines we need, and we don't need any other line, and the full length, okay. The full length is above or 3/4. Okay, if you look at that, you can see it's a 3/4 gown. So since it's a 3/4 gown, I'm using here as my 3/4 length. So I'll drop as usual, drop by 1 inch to make your armhole, and you drop at 1 inch to make your armhole. So whatever I have, I'll transfer whatever I have on the shoulder line, so I'll be able to make my armhole completely. So this is it for the front. So the drafting here is the front drafting. So I'll now come over here. As you can see, I'll get the midpoint, I'll get the midpoint. For the armhole, I'm going to go in by 0.75, and for this 0.75 for the front, I'll come in this way, that way, and I'll use the whole of this to indicate the measurement of my bust circumference, okay. So that is that for my bust circumference, and we are good to go. So I'm going to construct the high load gown right here. So to do that, I need to also impute this is my shoulder, and this is the chest. So I'm going to, from the shoulder, I'm going to impute my hip, because I need this hip. Since this is below my knee, I'll be making use of my hip at this point for the small scale. So I'll draw my hip line. So this is my hip line. So from this hip line, I'm going to high-low this right now, okay. I'm high-lowing it on both parts, both right and on different levels. All right, so for this front pattern, we want to start the high-low. So this is the hip, and I'm going to come up by 1 inch on the hip, and then I will, on the length of the dress, I'll come up by 3 inches on the length, okay. So wherever you want the length to be, simply come up by 3 inches. So I'll place my pattern ruler to the center front and connect the high-low parts, and I'll place this and connect the high-low. Okay, so if you cannot use your pattern paper, because the pattern paper might not actually give you that curvy, okay, I mean the pattern ruler, you can do this, okay, and you can do something like this. Okay, so that is how the high-low part of this dress is. So we'll come back to this. So the back, I've already started drafting the back, normal back drafting. So the armhole part, I'll find the midpoint, I'll come in by 0.5 for the back and 0.5 for the back. Then I'm going to connect that to this and connect back to this. So like I said, the armhole, I'm using this line to as my bust circumference to complete my armhole, and I'll do that to this as well to complete my armhole. So for this particular back piece of this dress, we are also going to have the high-low pattern, but in a very stylish way. So for this, I'll just come in from here, from this line that both of them meet. I'll just come in like 1.5 inches, and I'll connect this line on a straight course like this. And then when I come over, you know this one, once you close now and you want to sew, this is the part that will match up with this. So this particular part now is going to match up with this. Can you see? So I just made this line, I transfer that line to this. So I'll also come in here by 1.5 or 2 inches. I can just do 2. You can choose anything. You know this is a small scale. You can even do 3 inches on your own. Okay, just look at it and know how you want to do that. So I'm using a small scale drafting, and that is why I'm not using too much extension. So this is how it's going to be, and that is how this dress is patterned. So the neckline, anything you want to make for your neckline, you can go ahead. If you need it a mandarin collar, you can leave it as it is right there. So I'm just cutting this and separating back and front. This is back and this is front. So the next thing we want to do now is to start our slash and spread. So before we slash and spread, I'm going to cut the shape of this pattern. So the back neckline, I came down by 1 inch as usual. Okay, so you know the back is really very higher. That's if you are making a mandarin collar or a neckline similar to this. So I'll just keep this and I will go ahead to cut the front pattern. So I'll cut my neckline, as you can see. So now it's time for me to cut what I have here. So like I just want it rounded. I don't just want it so I just rounded it, but I still came up to that point. Okay, so you know how to round it up. The pattern ruler might not really give you that. So this is what you have for the front. Okay, so the next thing we want to do now is to slash and spread, so we'll be able to have the flay effect. So I already have the center line. Okay, that will serve as my center front line. I'm just going to divide my slash lines like this. I'll just make 1, 2, 3 slash lines. That is 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay, so I'm going to slash this way. I want you to watch how I do this. I'll come to the center up to the chest line. Once I get to the chest line, I'll go in this way. Please don't cut off completely. I'll go in this way. Okay, so you might even decide not to cut other lines, because what I have here will give me the effect I want on my flea. So let me just go ahead and leave the other line so we don't go slashing and piecing the lines. So you can place this on the fabric and pin. Okay, once you have gotten the actual flay you need, you can just go ahead and pin. And if you still want to slash a little bit, it all depends on you. So what we are actually talking about here is we need a flay, as it is right there on the thumbnail. So since we need a flay as it is on the thumbnail, we are going to slash. So the more you slash, the more flay you have. So I'll just go ahead and apply my adhesive right here. So like I said, this can be your fabric and you pin. Instead of going ahead with paperwork, you can, once you have cut the slash, you pin it on your fabric and simply slash. So I'll just use this, what I have on my paper, to serve as the width of my slash and spread. So this is it. Okay, up to that point. So the more you go, the more it flays. And another thing is the fabric used there is of utmost importance. Okay, we have fabric like we have crepe, we have scuba, we have Duchess, which can give you that particular effect. Okay, so we have Lycra, as you can see. So the slash and spread I have here, I'm looking at it and it's becoming too much, but it all depends by choice. This is 3, I can do 2 inches. So let me just bring it closer. Remember, this is a small scale. Please don't allow this to confuse you. You know what you want on your flay, so you can just do. So I just bring it closer so it doesn't slash too much. Okay, so from here to here, that is the point at which you use to check 1.5 instead of 3 inches. So like I said, it's all by choice. The more you extend, the more it flays. So at this point now, I'll simply do this. Just connect like we usually have our flay. So this method I'm showing you now is the pattern method. That does not mean that you cannot achieve this through the 180 degrees flay method. Okay, so after this I'll also show you the 180 degrees method you can also use. So but to me, I love to make my patterns for accuracy. Okay, so the pattern you have everything you need at any point in time. So if I'm actually making this dress, I'm going to use this pattern I taught you here.